We finally have a bit more information about the vehicle upgrades in Battlefield 6, or at least one of the most up-to-date builds. In a recent playtest environment that I was able to participate in, the Loadout button on the menu now features the vehicle customization tool. The screen shows all of the game's vehicles, so let's start digging in. Right off the bat, you'll notice that I've got some skins equipped. These are also part of the menu system along with the decal options. There's a number in here right now, but this amount will likely grow over time, just as 2042's decals did. Taking a look at the tanks first, we find options for the driver and gunner. For the driver, there are 2 tank shell options available at any given time that can be swapped out while the vehicle is active. The shells available are mostly what you'd expect. A middle-of-the-road MPAT, a canister round only effective against infantry and light vehicles, a high-explosive round for use against infantry, and a fast, low-drop, and low-splash sabot round. The one shell that did stick out to me was the aim-guided shell. While it functions just like the guided shell in older games, being able to lock onto enemy vehicle targets, it can also be controlled by the weapon's crosshairs. This is a really interesting shell as it behaves similar to a wire-guided rocket. Next, we have coax secondary weapon options. In the beta, this was locked to the LMG, but now we know that the harder-hitting HMG is an option as well. This is one I used exclusively in the recent playtest. Heading over to the equipment section, there are currently 3 options. Thermal smokescreen, which was the default in the beta, able to obscure the tank and brake missile locks. Next, there is the projectile intercept system, also known as APS in older titles, able to block just about any impact while active over a short duration. Finally, there is the emergency repair option, which was pulled from Battlefield 5. This is only available when the tank is critically damaged and provides an instant HP restore. Moving to the driver upgrade section, we have field maintenance acting in a similar way to how it's been since Battlefield 3, but now with the added bonus of gaining ammo faster. Next is reinforced plating, increasing damage resistance to all forms but reduces max speed and acceleration. Enhanced loading system increases primary weapon rate of fire and improves the heat recovery of your coax weapon. However, it only works when the tank is not below a certain damage threshold. Finally, optimized handling. As a strong vehicle player for more than 20 years, this to me was the natural pick, as it improved vehicle turn rate and aiming speed. Given how sluggish the tanks were in the beta, this was an obvious option to test. And while the tanks felt better overall with this option, I still don't think that this upgrade should even be a thing. How the tank feels with the upgrade applied should just be the standard control and responsiveness, and then some. Heading over to the gunner upgrades, the choices are between the HMG, the LMG, and an automatic grenade launcher. Under the gunner equipment slot, we first have the smoke wall option. This was included in the beta, and I really don't think that this should be an ability. Intended mostly for teamwork, I think it will be far more annoying and used nefariously by trolls and annoyed teammates to constantly block the driver's point of view. The second option here is the mine countermeasures, and this one is cool as hell. It allows the gunner to detect mines and C4 explosives and triggers countermeasures to destroy them. This is a great teamwork option. Next, we have the IFEs. You'll notice 2 gunner upgrade slots are blue, meaning no options were available in this build. For the primary weapon options, there is high explosive, which is the default, anti-personnel, which is a non-explosive canister round, and armor piercing, which actually does a great job against vehicles. It also doesn't have any splash, but it still will kill infantry in one hit on a direct impact. The secondary weapon options start with the aim-guided tow launcher. This was working far more reliably in this build from the beta and seemed more balanced. Next is the lock-guided missile, which needs to lock on a target before firing and can be used in sync with laser designators and tracer darts. Finally, there are the light rockets. This launches a salvo of unguided rockets at targets. I was hoping that they would be more like the Zuni rockets of the IFE in Battlefield 4, but unfortunately it only fired 2 rockets, and they didn't seem to be too effective. Under the equipment slots, there are 3 options, these being the smoke generator, thermal blocking IR smoke, and the emergency repair. The standard smoke launcher doesn't break enemy missile locks, so it will be essential to use the upgrade as soon as it is available. In the second equipment slot, there is the Proximity Threat Detector. This was equipped in the beta, and when activated, shows enemies in close proximity on the minimap. The other option is the Counterfire Radar, which spots the source of incoming damage. This is essentially the same ability that the Cav Brawler vehicle has in Battlefield 2042. For the driver upgrades, two of the options are the same as the tanks: Field Maintenance and Reinforced Plating. Two others are new. The first of these is the Targeting Jammer, which provides greater protection from enemy targeting locks and spotting. The second is the Systems Upgrade, which enables faster cooldowns on equipment as well as enhances their effectiveness. For the gunner seat, at present, the only customization was the remote weapon station, which offered the same three options as the tank gunner seat. The light ground transport had a single gunner weapon upgrade slot, however no option was available at this time. Next we have the mobile AA. In this build, two of these slots had no other options: the secondary weapon, which defaults to the AA missiles, and the radar systems upgrade. The primary shell choices are the multi-purpose, high velocity, and anti-armor. True to their descriptions though, neither did any real damage to armored ground vehicles, even with the anti-armor shells. As far as equipment goes, in slot 1 it has the same options as the other ground armor: thermal blocking IR smoke and the emergency quick repair. In slot 2 there are more options. These include the systems upgrade as found on the IFE, optimized handling, enhanced loading, and the targeting jammer. Moving on to attack helicopters, I'll preface this by saying that several upgrade slots did not yet have options, including alternatives for flares or any gunner weapons. Looking at the primary weapons, the default is the aim-guided rockets that were found in the beta. These automatically adjust trajectory based on where your camera is looking. These are a really cool concept, and I think that there is a lot of potential for wild plays. However, I'm not sold on them being the default option, since it is a little confusing at first. These can also lock onto targets marked by laser designators. Next, we have the light rocket pods, which come with a bigger salvo. These are effective against infantry and light vehicles. Finally, the heavy rockets are most effective against armored targets, but do great damage against infantry as well. And as of this build, they are extremely effective. You only get 4, but that's all you need in combination with some other damage source to wipe a tank from existence. For the secondary weapon, there is the standard helicopter options of heat-seeking anti-air missiles and the aim-guided tow option, the latter of which I found to be responsive and as effective as its Battlefield 4 predecessor. The equipment options in slot 1 are currently locked to flares, but under slot 2, there are the options of emergency repair and target detection. This target detection upgrade is a bit more specialized, as it says it tracks and identifies the location of enemy infantry and vehicles. Whether this means being marked by 3D spotting, I am not sure, as I didn't test it. It also makes the helicopter more vulnerable to lock-on weapons while active, so that is a huge penalty. For the driver upgrade slot, the radar system enables air and ground radar. Apparently this stacks with the ground targeting system when enabled for extra range, which is pretty cool. Next is the heavy warheads option, which directly pulls from the concepts of later 2042 vehicles. This increases the blast radius and ammo capacity of weapons at the expense of aircraft maneuverability. Next is targeting interference, which slows down the enemy's ability to lock on and clears spotting faster. This passive ability is disabled when the chopper moves too slowly, which is another nice balancing technique. I think that this is an extremely good option if you are planning to make strafing runs at ground targets frequently. Lastly, there is the improved armor option, which increases damage resistance to most infantry weapons. Honestly, I'm not too worried about small arms fire, so I don't think that this is a critical upgrade. That pretty much covers all of the vehicle upgrade options at this time, since weapon and equipment upgrades for the transport helicopter and both jets were currently unavailable. Right now, I think the customization system for vehicles has exceeded my expectations. We are mostly seeing the return to classic and balanced upgrades like in Battlefield 3 and 4, and nothing absurd like 2042, nor are we seeing any heavily armed transport vehicles, which makes me very happy. It also really appears that there's going to be a lot of diverse options to play with and experiment with. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this vehicle upgrade system. What do you think are the best in-slot options so far?